Hello, and thank you for tuning in. We here at TechRaptor just coming with a little chat segment. We've been lucky enough to check out the first episode of Fallout Season 2. So we wanted to give a little bit of a roundtable discussion, a little bit of early thoughts. So before we hop into Season 2, Episode 1, I did want to ask you guys, Erren, if you want to take the lead, in like 5 words or less, kind of what was your vibe coming out of Season 1?
Honestly, I was really impressed with Season 1, and as somebody who doesn't like okay, this is gonna be more than 5 words, but I guess I was unexpectedly, pleasantly surprised at how good it was.
I mean, you're someone who has been consuming not video game content in the forms of video games, movies, TV shows. We've kind of been taught not to expect them to be good, and this one kind
Right,
of
exactly, and the games I've only played, a little bit of the games, so going in, I was like, "Oh, okay," I couldn't really vibe with the games, but the show, like, blew me away. I was like, "Okay," like, the world is so interesting, and I really like how they're presenting it in the show, and the writing is good, and the characters are really intriguing, and I wanna see where they go, and like I said, I was just really impressed with it.
and Otton.
Try to do it in 5 words. Fallout game and meh. Show great. That do it for you?
Yeah, that works. Because I think that you even wrote a feature on the first season.
I did on the
about
first
how
season.
the world is such a good character.
Yeah, it's a great article about it that it goes into why I felt it was great, how they adapted it well. Because it was a companion when we had Last of Us also had just came out that year, the first season. We won't talk about season 2. How disappointing. But first season great. And having both those at once was like, wow, here's how they're both adapting games very differently, but doing it very effectively. But yeah, Fallout season 1's great. The best part to me is how Fallout's world is kind of more complicated than you'd think. There's a
Yeah.
lot going on, and there's a lot of different worlds doing different things within it. And they made all of those stories compelling and interesting, and fleshing out the world some more, which is not hard, or not easy to do.
And that kind of, immediately launches us into this first episode. Is Season 1 kind of told the story of the past and the present. We're now getting more about the people who were from the past, what they were doing there, and how they've come to the future. We get to see some very very terrifying flashbacks to people in the time of the past already experimenting in kind of fucked up ways.
Yeah.
And then from there, we get to see kind of where we catch up with Lucy and the Ghoul, Cooper Howard, as they are chasing after Lucy's father. What did you guys think of the dynamic between them?
Between Lucy and Ghoul?
Yeah.
I was actually like, at the beginning of the episode, it takes place like, we're jumping in right where they left off, which is great. And I'm glad that they didn't kind of, waft around and spend so much time just doing other things. They're like, here you go. It's a continuation of the previous season. And so we kind of get to see like right away that they, as a pair, they have their issues. They're not like automatically getting along, and they have to figure out how to work with each other, and things aren't always good for either of them.
Yeah, their dynamic is pretty. I think it's going to be one of the things people like the most about the season. I'm guessing. I'm not seeing the rest of the season, obviously, but how they interact with each other is going to be a favorite thing. I think 'cause she's the classic like I'm just the happy-go-lucky nice person. Like even there's a scene at the beginning where instead of like killing people, she's shooting them in like the leg, and then because she's trying to help the Ghoul out do stuff, and then he gets into it and just all the gore is back. He's just blowing people away, and she's just trying to be. Oh, I'll just maim them. And no, it's very they've continued the like just comically over the top violence, and like people's heads exploding, everything.
Yeah.
It definitely felt a little more like video gamey in that sense.
Yeah.
You had made a comment before I had watched how much like more video gamey it was, and I definitely did like catch, like the super video gamey explosion of the car playing the song about the big iron while the ghoul kicks ass, and kind of the different like catching prompts on the Pip Boys and stuff. It did feel like it was leaning really heavily into the source material.
Yeah, and even like in that confrontation with those I guess bandit characters that you could call them, it did feel like, they were making a decision like, should we shoot them or should we negotiate with them? Or it did feel
You
like the
failed the
traditional
check, so now the guns come out.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's one of the things that that season 1 did pretty good. It's like it kept the video gaminess in it, but also like still relatively grounded's not the right word, but it's a world you go like, okay, I can absorb this world, and this over the topness doesn't take me out of it. How absurd it is.
Is it maybe not grounded, but like the world has rules?
Yeah, I guess it just kind of fits.
Consistency.
Yeah, and they continue that with this one. I think there might be. I'd be curious because I haven't rewatched like the first season, but like the clip at which we got some like insane bloody gore stuff was pretty quick in this this episode.
Yeah, they don't really spend any time easing you in, which I guess is fair because they probably figure if you're watching season 2, you probably have seen season 1 by now.
Because it picks up immediately after the end of the first season. There's no like time stop, like no gap.
It's kind of like if you were to go back in a couple years and like binge watch it, like it's all gonna feel like a consistent story, which I think is where a lot of TV shows like to do a big narrative break.
Yeah,
slow down, reset stakes, and then amp back up. But this is just nope, we're back in.
Which I appreciate because they left the characters in certain spots where like if we had not seen what happened immediately after where they had left them at the end of season 1, it would have sucked. It would have just been annoying. Like, all right, here's we'll explain to you what happened to them, and here's where they are now, instead of letting us see, which is way more interesting than them explaining it probably. And so there's just good stuff happening.
Speaking of characters and where we've left them, Norm, Lucy's brother character, stuck in Vault 31. There was a lot of mystery around the vaults and like the Vault 31, 32, 33 triangle. Did you guys feel at all in the first episode your like interest in that vault story had waned now that a bunch of the secrets had been revealed? Or are you still, interested to see what's going to go on in those locations?
I'm still interested in it just because it's mostly tied with Norm, and even though they are showing some of those other side characters who are like, there's obviously something going on with that vault. But then you have Norm, who is like, okay, well, obviously he needs to get out of a situation. So you have to wonder, how is he going to get out of there? Because right now he's pretty hopeless, and he's pretty much like, I don't know how to describe it, but he's in the situation where you don't know where he's going to go, and I think that's what makes him interesting.
I'm interested beyond Norm. I think the vaults are like one of the more unique things that Fallout has going for it, and just the weird structure of it, and like Vault, and how we've seen other vaults in like season 1 where they're not like Vault 31 where Lucy's from. Like they're varied, and having them learn some more. I'm assuming that more will come out to them, and people will learn some things, like just the general people that live there at some point. And so I'm curious what happens with that, because like even that first season, I can't remember the dude's name that the original, like they cut his head off and stuff, that they're searching for him. That guy, I can't recall his name. But even he says like to Lucy's like, vault dwellers are like you're a rare breed, and so seeing them just still like having a normal life while all this insanity is happening with the other characters is interesting. So what can they do with it? And then, well, particularly with where this first episode ends, where that's going to go with the Vault Dwellers.
I mean, this is an episode 1 recap. We can openly discuss spoilers for episode 1.
Yeah,
we won't go any further. but yeah, they're he and what is it, Bud's buddies
Yeah.
are loose in the wastes.
Yeah, he starts taking the cryo freeze off all the people.
It was a smart way. It's
the end
like,
of it.
hey, there's people trained to be smart, to know
Yeah.
this inside and out. Let's wake them.
Get them all up at once. Well, and he was dying anyway. He's like, what do I got? What do I care? Like,
We also got to see a new Vault 24.
Yeah, that one was interesting
Vault.
because it was obviously abandoned, or so we think anyway. But there was a lot of mystery there, and the character who was like being controlled, or whatever was going on, that was one of those scenes that kind of surprised me with like the amount of gore that they were showing.
Yeah, the dude's head's just exploding. Not the
Yeah,
first
it's
guy
like,
to
oh.
explode with that mind control thing. That's where the episode begins. Is some of that.
It kind of almost felt like Lucy and Coop walked into like Dead Space accidentally.
Yeah,
It did
yeah,
feel
it
like
did.
a horror thing, like part of a game where they're walking through.
I had wanting to know, like, we saw Novak briefly. I wanted to like know kind of 24, what's its experiment going in, and so I did a quick Google search, and Vault 24 was actually cut content from New Vegas.
Oh, really?
That using console commands, you could mod, or you could give yourself a Vault 24 jumpsuit, but aside from that, it was planned but removed.
Interesting.
So I thought that was a really cool little nod to it.
Also, how fucked up is Lucy's dad? It's like, all right, I'm gonna talk to you through this guy. I'm just gonna leave this mind controlled dude here and try to talk to you, and also by doing so, I'm gonna blow his fucking head up because he can't handle this experimental tech. I guess if we didn't mention the experimental tech that shows up at the beginning of the episode with what's his face. Why am I spacing his name?
House.
House. Yeah, House's tech stuff. He's the New Vegas guy, but that's one of the big experiments they're working on, is him mind controlling people through some little thing in their neck. And Lucy's dad leaves a dude behind with that, and tries to talk to her, just come on, just go home, I'll fix everything. What an insane move. You're like, this will work.
It's like a messengergram.
Yeah, and then I'll blow this dude's head up.
I think for me, all of the stuff with Hank has been the most fascinating.
Oh yeah.
Him making it through the waste, getting to a bunker, I assume that's under
Something.
New Vegas. Him just like walking through that guy was really fucked up. I laughed so hard when he pulled up like the corporate gold Pip Boy when he was getting dressed.
It was great. Yeah. Puts that on as he got the suit.
It's like, this is so.
I thought it was funny. He's in the power armor and he's pouring like the coffee or tea or whatever it was, and then he's got it with the power armor. It was great.
Yeah, I think whatever he's up to, and like, however they're gonna have him interface and become an even worse guy, it seems, is the most interesting thing for me going into this season.
That and he has that whole like speech that he gives out over the radio he's trying to get to House somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like he's like, oh, I'll prove myself to you. Like, you can't ignore me, essentially, is what he's, because he's trying to. Seems like he's going to try to perfect it or finish the experiment of that mind control tech on people, which we're ending with everybody's head getting blown off as he's walked into that room with all the people's heads missing. But it's definitely interesting what he's up to.
And then I wonder as well, he kind of alludes to like, I know that, you had so many contingency plans to make sure that you would survive. So I'm sure you've survived. But at this point, like, House is pretty much an AI, right?
I think so. From what I remember from New Vegas, he's just in a computer.
Yeah. So I wonder how that will change, or I wonder whether this like head thing will allow House to
like insert himself.
infiltrate and become human again. Do a little bit of like a hive mind switcheroo.
House becomes Hank.
That could be it.
Could be it. That's all. Whenever House, all I can think of is Dr. House. By the way, every time I think of
that. So I think that pretty much covers everything. I do want to like add to it that like they absolutely nail the environments. Like a lot of the panning vista shots are just like, yes, this is just New Vegas. They fucking nail it.
It's a wonderful, like from the first season. It's been such a great adaptation of the world put to screen. It's one of its biggest strengths. And I mean, I guess when you have Jonathan Nolan do it, he's Westworld, and Christopher Nolan's brother helped write some of those. Dude, he knows a little bit about what he's up to, and was able to convince Amazon to give him the budget to do it, I guess.
Yeah, it does feel like kind of like a proper successor to Westworld in a lot of ways. And so far, like Westworld disappointed me after season 1, but like
season
far,
1's one of the best shows.
Yeah, and so like the fact that they couldn't keep that going with that series is kind of like always disappointing for me. But Fallout seems to be on the right track so far. So hopefully they can keep it going.
It was honestly Westworld season 1 that made me think like, hey, once the mystery of this vault is over, how much do we really care? Because that's kind of you learned who the man in the black hat was, and it's like, okay, like I don't have as much investment here because I'm into the characters, but I think the world does such a good job of taking over.
Yeah, well, I think what I'm not going to keep comparing it to Westworld, but what Fallout is doing great is that like grounded in pretty much every story is at its core, what's motivating the characters is some familial reason.
Mm-hmm.
Coop's looking for his family. She's like wants her dad back. Like there's all these very primal, basic motivations for these characters, which is compelling. And it's going to always be compelling, and that's always the main thing behind them. And I think that's will help carry it, and why we're always going to care about what they're doing, even though Coop's wife seems like a monster. But it's like, why do you really want to find her?
Yeah.
That was one of the things that they changed from the game, wasn't it? Where they decided that like Vault-Tec deliberately dropped the bombs in the show.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it was China in the games.
Yeah, I think that was right.
Something like that. But yeah, no, it's way cooler than Vault-Tec did. It's way better.
Evidence points to a Chinese first strike by game lore, but yeah, Vault-Tec is.
But also,
TV
maybe
show.
that was just evidence planted by Vault-Tec in the game to make it look like it was not
goes all the way to the top.
That's right. We got him. We got him.
No, you're right though. I think that the fact that each character, they're not like, some video game adaptations are just like, oh, hey, it's like this character on a surface level. But the fact that the Fallout show made their own characters and they're not really tying it to the games like directly. Like, yes, it's based on the games, but it's not the exact characters. I think that's probably one of its biggest strengths. And that's probably why I ended up liking it so much, because it's not like, oh, well, it's this game character is the main character. Then you already know what they're going to do if you play the game, or if you've, read spoilers or something like that.
And I'm not the most versed Fallout guy, but I feel like House is like the first like character from a game that's in the like a proper that people know, right?
Yeah, I mean, like there's like the Leo leaning forward, like I know that when you see like the Rad Scorpion and ghouls in general and a Mr.
when
Handy
we see our
stuff.
first Death Claw at some point.
Yeah, I'm so excited whenever they decide to
not in episode 1
Death Claw.
But yeah, so I think House is the first one like really from a game that's like, all right, people know who this is, they've interacted with him.
Yeah. I wonder if that will also give us a better idea of like where this lines with the game. Like, are we just gonna like walk by the courier who's like, "Hey, I'm looking for this chip," like, and he's just gone in a moment?
Didn't they say this is after like the games too? Like, so there's a pretty big choice with House at the end of New Vegas. Big things happening.
Mhm.
They said that they're basically not going to decide, or they're not going to lean on one canon ending or another. So in my mind, that means they're going to do their own thing, which is fine.
That's I'd prefer them to do that anyway.
Which,
Why?
it also seems very in the spirit of Fallout to say we're going to take this same world and run a new story through it, and let these characters make their choices, which is fun.
Yeah, they're doing great stuff, good stuff.
So I think unanimously we were all fans of the first season,
Very much.
really happy with how this season has begun, and looking forward to watching more of it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm really excited to see where it goes, and I really like if they can stick the landing again, then I'll be like, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
We've got a second season of a good adaptation.
And like, because one thing we didn't see any of in the first episode. What's his name? Is it Maximus?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't see anything. His is the weirder of all the stories because it's a little more complex. What's going on with him, and so what's where he goes will be interesting also with the Brotherhood and all that stuff.
I feel like he's such a wild card of a character. Like at any point, he can either try to fulfill like this knight oath that he envisions himself to be, but he's also just so feeble-minded and petty and shallow that it's just like he could just succumb to it and go, "Oh no, I'm going to go off and do my own thing over here."
Yeah, but again, he's another one. It's very human motivations of driving him for like what he wants.
Yeah, claw your way to the top.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking the time to chat about this show with me today. And I'm looking forward to watching more episodes.
Yes, as am I.
All right. Have a good one, all.
You as well.